We're less than 72 hours away from the start of President Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate. And tonight, the president's new legal team and impeachment managers are previewing their case. Now, Nicole Killian is traveling with the president in West Palm Beach.
President Trump spent part of the day at his golf club while his legal team submitted its formal answer to the articles of impeachment, calling them a dangerous attack on the right of the American people to freely choose their president and constitutionally invalid.
Impeaching a president is one of the most monumentous things you can do in our country.
Former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi is one of several lawyers on the president's new roster, along with other big names like former independent prosecutor Ken Starr and constitutional expert Alan Dershowitz, who says his role will be limited.
I'm only going to appear on behalf of the Constitution, making the arguments against impeachment based on the Constitution.
A source working with the impeachment team confirmed Dershowitz and Starr won't be everyday participants in the trial, with each member having a specific lane. The White House plans a three-pronged defense strategy, arguing the impeachment articles allege no violation of law. The Senate trial is a product of a flawed process in the House, and the case collapses on the facts.
They're trying to impeach the son of a bitch. Can you believe that?
On Capitol Hill, House impeachment managers filed a trial brief establishing the president is guilty of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, asserting his conduct is the framers' worst nightmare. It follows a document dumped Friday by Democrats with more evidence from Lev Parnas, an associate of Rudy Giuliani.
With all of that in consideration, I think it's vital for the Senate to hear witnesses.
With the trial set to start Tuesday, senators balancing jury and campaign duty tried to make the most of their time this weekend.
I'm not canceling events, and that is how I run my life and how I'm going to run this campaign to the very end. We're just going to have to double down and work even harder.
While all senators will be present for the trial, the president may not. He's expected to travel abroad to Davos next week for an economic forum. Nicole Killian, CBS News, West Palm Beach.
And in other national news, the 101st convention of the American Farm Bureau Federation, which is underway in Austin, Texas, and the Montana Ag Network's Lane Norland joins us with news from the event.
As the nation's largest farm and ranch organization gathers here in Austin, Texas, trade is on the mind of all attendees, but more optimism around trade is certainly being talked about. Whether it was the Japan-U.S. trade deal that was finalized in the fall of 2019 to just last week when the U.S. and China agreed to a Phase 1 trade deal and the Senate's passage of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement on Thursday. We caught up with one Montana Farm Bureau member from western Montana who shared how important trade deals are to the success of his family farm.
The trade part of our operation in particular is very reliant on foreign markets. And so, the promotion of that continuing is a very large and very important part of our, of our survival. So, it is being sidetracked by all this other political things that are going on, which is very frustrating to watch. Let's get down to business.
Helena's Rocky Forsyth is representing Montana by competing in the Young Farmers and Ranchers discussion meet this week. The competitive event serves as a way to engage the next generation of leaders of Farm Bureau while focusing on the creation of grassroots policy for the organization.
I think it needs to start at the county level, and I brought that up during the discussion meet, but I think what's important is that we start at the county level. Every good policy comes from the grassroots of our organization, if you will, which obviously is the county level, and we move that up through our state and eventually becomes national policy if it so fits.
For the third year in a row, President Donald Trump will address attendees here at the convention on Sunday. This will be his final address before next week's Senate trial for his impeachment. And of course, here at the convention, multiple attendees are concerned about how that impeachment may impact President Trump's trade agenda. That will do it for now from Austin, Texas. I'm Lane Nordlund, MTN News.
Thank you, Lane. And he will have a special report of President Trump's address to the nation's farmers and ranchers tomorrow evening from the American Farm Bureau Convention. Well, determination, enthusiasm, and athleticism all on display at Metro Park in a competition for the dogs. Dog Docs is a jumping competition, and organizers say the best dogs are the ones after their toys. Now get this, the world record is 32 feet 10 inches. Now here in Billings, the best dogs have been jumping more than 20 feet. The dogs are all classified according to ability, and for those involved, Dog's senior event manager says they're a special breed.
The dogs will make you smile every day differently. You know what I mean? And now the handlers are amazing people. But I got to tell you, I'm here for the dogs because so much loving, so much dedication, and the focus, they'll give their all to you 24/7. It's the most amazing sport I've ever been involved with.
Dogs will have high jump competitions, or they did tonight, and run, jump, and swim events on Sunday at Great Rockies Sports Show. Well, nationwide, many honored the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with a service today. And Q2's David J. reports on the National Day of Service at the Friendship House in Billings.
It's actually called Martin Luther King Day of Service. That was his message to people that, you know, roll up your sleeves and work and help and serve your community.
Volunteers helped clean and fix the Friendship House.
Somewhere along, out of the many things that King said, he said that anybody can serve. You don't need to be rich or famous or important or educated. In a sense, that's a unifier.
The Friendship House of Christian Service helps children in South Billings.
A place where they can come, receive help that they need, and begin to understand that they also can grow and be of help to others.
They all did some work here at the Friendship House, and when they took a break, they talked about what it means to them, the motivation, the inspiration of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
It's just great to see a day like today where people all come together and, you know, share service.
And when you get beyond the skin and skin color and all of those kind of things and just look at the person, I think that becomes ultimately a message of power that he gave us to move forward with.
We're thankful that we get this opportunity to serve our community. And Martin Luther King.
Pastor Melvin Terry ended the break with a prayer.
So now we pray for togetherness, we pray for forgiveness, we pray for love and peace and joy.
In Billings, David J., MTN News.
Thanks so much, David. Stay with us, more to come on the 10 o'clock news. After the break, we show you a hands-on experience for children adventuring in health and medicine. And later in sports, a rare high school doubleheader up at MSUB. Highlights between Park City and Plentycoup coming up. But first, let's check in with our friend Rob Griggs over in the Weather Center.
Well, Zoe, if you're like me and you've had a belly full of this cold weather, we need something better than that. We need something warm. How about the 40s? How about all week long? Well, we'll give you the complete forecast in just a minute.
You're watching MTN News with Zoe Zandora, Storm Tracker Weather with Rob Griggs, and Sports with Casey Conlon. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.